welcome to this episode of the Be Fairy Afraid podcast, the podcast where we bring hilarity to the darkest of fairy tales. I'm Louise Atkinson.
And I'm Fiona Ridgewell. And this week we're talking menopausal meetups,
Hot stuff,
a nudist beach, and edible underwear. And the princess with the three breasts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So in the words of Jean-Baptiste de Basile,
shut your mouths, open your ears, and hear what I shall tell you.
Friends on a quest, putting these fairy tales to the test, talking all things magical, mystical, but sometimes not very sophistical. Be very afraid, someone actually wrote this story down. Be very afraid, why are all the women wearing massive gowns? Why is he kissing her without her consent? What on earth is going on? Will they figure it out what this story's all about? Oh, be very afraid.
Bonjour, Fiona.
hello.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you?
I am. I've got a really fun story to share this week. Well, I thought it was fun. I had a lovely time. I've got an interesting little adventure I went on.
Share away. Share it right now.
Thank you. So I had to go away for work and meant I had to stay over in yet another Airbnb.
Right.
I tried to treat myself a bit, and I went in like this village that looked like Jane Austen vomited it up. Like, it was really picturesque.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Really nice. But like, it was the kind of village where at 20 to 9 in the evening, they were ringing the bells in the church. And I don't know what that means. Like, is someone getting married? Someone died? Has the vicar found his glasses? What's going on?
What, at 20 to 9, not on the hour?
Yeah, not on the hour. So that's why I was like, does this mean something? Does the entire village have to congregate? Do I have to bring my own
Do I
sheep?
have to run?
Exactly. What's going on? So it's that kind of village. And it was the kind of village where there's absolutely no corner shops, there's no nothing, but there is 2 pubs.
Who chooses to live there, though?
Posh rich people who I met, because everything was closed and it was a little village, and I got into the Airbnb quite late.
What day of the week is this?
This is a Monday.
A Monday. When all great things happen.
I was like, right, I'll go to the pub for my tea, right? So I rock up, the pub's like empty, I get there, I'm reading my book, I'm on my own, people are bringing me food. You're pulling a face, I couldn't think of anything better.
Just because whenever Matthew brings his book to the pub, but to be fair, I'm with him.
Yeah,
so
that's rude.
That is a little bit more like, hello, we can actually talk.
Anyway, so I'm in this pub, having a lovely time, having dinner on my own, reading my book. Then, out of nowhere, I think you would describe them as a swarm of menopausal women arrived in this pub. And they sort of are and they're really middle class. Like, I think the entry requirement was everyone had to earn their own gilet, like really middle class. And they're coming in and they're sort of going in like this line to like a back room. And I'm fascinated, right? And at one point, this one woman comes in and I'm obsessed with her. She is Trunchbull adjacent is how I would describe her. Like, I don't want to body shame anyone, but the woman was built like a brick shit house. I mean, I'm no beanpole myself, but do you know what I mean? Like, crack on. And she had this scrape-backed blonde hair, and she also had these, on each ring finger, on each hand, she had these huge, massive rings with like massive stones in them.
Oh, right. Like on the ring finger. Is that your engagement one?
Yeah, so on each, so you know, it's the engagement on the left, but it was also the equivalent on the right.
So
she had 2.
She'd been married several times.
I don't know if she's killed people. Like, that was her vibe. And she also was, so she had this really big, you know, overbearing demeanour, but then was wearing yoga pants and a t-shirt that said something the equivalent of Live, Laugh, Love in salmon pink. Right?
It's my kind of lady.
So they're all these like menopausal women are going through this back way, and I catch the eye of the Trunchbull one. I was like, sorry, what's going on?
You spoke to a stranger?
This is the problem, you see. Even though I hate people, I have Northern syndrome, and it just happens. It's like a disease.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I was like, sorry,
I
what?
would have to wonder for the rest of my life what was happening in that back room.
And I asked her, I was like, sorry, what is that? And she's like, it's a coffee and chat, or chat and coffee for menopausal chat. You're far too young. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, but it's going to happen to me eventually, right? Like,
Can I sit in?
Shut up. And she was like, yes, of course. We all need to learn. We need to learn more. Come. And I was like, I'm obsessed with you and everything that's going on. I went into the back room of this pub and already I'm loving it because...
Is it really warm in there?
All the way... I know, I was like, can we get some ice, please? But like, all in this back room randomly, for reasons I don't understand, was just pictures of roosters. It had nothing to do with the name of the pub.
Okay.
But you have a load of women with a women's issue surrounded by pictures of cocks. Loved it. And irony, I thoroughly enjoyed. So anyway, I sat down. Everybody is so middle class.
Yeah.
Like at one point, the woman I'm sat next to is chatting away to me about how she's just bought some muslin cloth because she's making her own cheese. Okay, everybody is very middle class.
Muslin cloth to make cheese?
Yeah, because it's how you like put it in and you drain it and you have to squish it and you have to do all this. Yeah, the woman's got far too much time.
Yeah, I'll never need to know that.
I would like to point out though that they did seem to like me and at one point have invited me to a local picnic, which is when I said... This is very middle class, and they all took a bit of umbrage, and they were like, yeah, well, "Is it?" I'm like, "Yeah, working class people aren't making their own cheese, love, unless we're back in the 1600s."
We're having a picnic, but it is all from Tesco.
But anyway, there was this GP there as a guest speaker, and she was fantastic. Like, she's a GP, but she's taken an interest in menopausal bits and bobs and has educated herself.
Bits and bobs. I feel like you learnt a lot.
I did. I absolutely smashed
I feel like you've come away an expert.
People won't tell you, but that is a technical term.
Bits and bobs of the menopause.
But it was fascinating because she said we all know sort of the generic symptoms like hot flushes and brain fog and stuff like that. But she was saying things like, if you have ADHD, your symptoms could get worse. In fact, if you don't even have ADHD, it can cause the onset of it. She was saying, actually, there's varying degrees of blood pressure fluctuation, which can have different impacts on your body. She was saying all this stuff. It was actually really, really interesting. And to be fair, I do recommend anyone who's potentially going to go through the menopause should maybe sit on one. But she also brought with her this massive bag of sachets of different lubricants, right?
Oh, do you dry out during the menopause?
So you get vaginal dryness, which I very
Strong opening to the podcast.
But I very naively was like, oh, so that must be for sex. Or if you have curly hair, as we know from the previous episodes.
Yeah.
But this woman was like, no, like just like you moisturise your face, like you should be moisturising
I should
down
be
there.
moisturising my
Not
face.
now, but after menopause. Because apparently she was like, a lot of people will suffer with what they think is thrush, but is actually just a consequence of vaginal dryness. It's also people, apparently, it gets so painful to put underwear on because there's just absolutely no lubricant there whatsoever. Chafe in there. But so she was really outspoken about it. And I was like, that's fascinating. But then this other woman had to take over once she left and had to get the other women to try and take the lubricants. But she was trying to do that without looking, touching or saying the word lube. So she was just sat there with all these different sachets. Because there was one for sex and there was two for like sort of day-to-day use, if you like. So this woman's just stood at the front going, yeah, oh, yes. So girls, as the GP said, they're down here at the front, there are the lubricants. And, if you do come, there are the 3 different lubricants. And, there's also this leaflet, which tells you much more than I could possibly tell you about the lubricants. So that was really good fun. Anyway, so the GP leaves and then they just have it's like a coffee and mingle and everybody can chat and be supportive of one another. It was actually very, very nice.
Nice, yeah.
But the Trunchbull one, I was obsessed with her. So
I hope she never finds this podcast.
I hope she does. But like, there's a few of us sat around chatting and stuff like that. And she comes up, the absolute state of her. Like, all these women are talking, they're just sharing their experiences and they're talking about what the GP has said. And some of them were like, it was really nice to have a female GP because in the areas they are, all of the people they go to talk to about menopause are these really old men.
Yeah, yeah.
So they were like, oh, it's quite nice. But then this Trunchbull woman walks up and she was like, well, I mean, I suppose it was interesting, but a lot of what she said was rubbish. I mean, she did try, bless her. She's saying this about the GP, right? I was like, what? Well, at the end of the day, we're women. We know what we're going through. I mean, like, she knows some bits, clearly, but nothing else.
What had she said to rile her so much?
I thought that, and then it all came out in the next following sentences. Because someone basically was like, oh, I thought it was quite interesting. It was like, oh, well, I mean, myself as a qualified osteopath. I was like, oh, is she bloody is?
Yeah, but you don't know stuff about people's nun.
Oh, no, but she did, apparently. She doesn't, but she thought she did. I was like, listen, when I go through the menopause, yeah, there'll be lots of things I need to explore and talk to people will help. But I'm telling you what, my first port of call will be my GP. Yeah, not you giving me a massage. But if I do have a group
or a dentist looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. See, I thought you'd be well into the osteopath. I thought you'd be like, oh, I'll go talk to her.
I've been to an osteopath.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
me.
me.
But not to look at my fanny.
Well, maybe you should give it a try.
Because at one point, I think I had one leg longer than the other or something. No. If I remember the issue correctly, there was something going
what
on.
do you mean? You have one leg longer than the
Well, I
other?
used to have like a really flexible back, and then I had a 7-car pile-up, but I was car A.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, I stopped in time, but 6 cars went in the back of me. So anyway, it did my back in a bit. And then when I went to the osteopath, he said that my hips were like completely twisted. So one leg was like...
Was that before the crash? Is that what was happening? Your foot was on the accelerator more than the brake because one
I
leg was
just
longer
feel,
than the
yeah,
other.
yeah, it could have been. I just feel like I only found that out because of the accident. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have gone to an osteopath, otherwise I'd still be limping.
Was this before you went to dance?
No, this was when I was about 25.
So you could have had that when you were dancing.
Well, I probably had loads. Yeah, a lot of. I remember when I was learning to dance, like when I was in my teens, my teacher, she must have been younger than I am now, and she was going for a double hip replacement. Oh. It really fucks you up dancing.
But that was my little adventure,
And that's why we don't talk to strangers.
Stranger danger. That's what we've learned. I loved it. Absolutely loved
I think
it.
I would have enjoyed that.
It was fun.
I would quite like to learn about the menopause now, although I just think life's unfair.
Yeah, it's better to just think that and not do anything. That's definitely a better approach.
That's what I'm in at the moment. I'm like, life's unfair.
I was just about to ask you how you were.
Um,
So how are you, other than despairing?
Apart from despair, what are my other emotions? Apart from despair, just fine, really. I'm all right.
Yeah. They usually go hand in hand. Utter despair, but fine. It's the most
Also-
British answer.
Getting through it all. What did I do? I took my nephews out recently. That was nice.
With a gun or to the...
Excuse me. No, we took them to Brighton for
Nice.
a day out. Except, did you know that if you go far enough down the beach in Brighton, say you're facing the pier, if you go to the left and keep going far enough until you see people with their cocks out, you are on a nudist beach. Did you know that?
I mean, it's Brighton. I'm not surprised.
There's a nudist. There's a bit like...
Imagine that, because Brighton's a pebble beach.
Oh, I know. I don't even like it getting in my toes.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you're up there with your stone up your ass.
Yeah, well, or
vag facing, yeah.
It's a lot of vag chat this week.
Yeah, sorry
isn't there?
guys, yeah.
It's like we maybe haven't mentioned it for sort of 15 episodes and then mentioned...
Yeah, just have it all in one.
Oh, my sister's... I wouldn't say she's strict, but she's quite a good mum. No, as in like... I wouldn't say she's strict, but I don't think it's ideal that they spend a few hours with me and they go back and say, we saw loads of boobs and willies on the beach, Mum. It's not ideal.
To be fair though, you were in Brighton, and the amount of hen and stag doos that are in
Yeah.
the turtle in that city, they were probably going to see
I
it
just
anyway.
feel like I'm only just trusted to look after them.
Yeah, all right, I got
And
you. yeah.
immediately I had to say, let's not tell Mummy about this.
Here's some sweets. Let's keep it between you and me.
Oh, and then they vomited when they got in, so I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm allowed to take them out again.
I mean, yeah, maybe you'll have supervised
they both
visits.
were really ill, but I wasn't ill, so that's on them.
Right, well, would you like to know what story we're doing this
Yeah, I
week?
think crack on with that.
Just want to crack,
Is
see
it
if it can.
upbeat?
There's some bits in it which I think you're going to quite like.
Okay, because I watched The Tattooist of Auschwitz yesterday, and I think that's why I'm
Christ
broken.
alive!
Have you seen it?
No,
I actually think that's why I'm broken.
you don't say it.
Matt wanted to binge it. I was like, I can't binge this. I was like, this has broken me. And then today I woke up and I think the saddest I've ever been, and I couldn't work out why. And then about 2:00 I went, oh, you don't reckon that program's... I think it's that program, isn't it? And he went, could be.
Do you know what I watched yesterday? Paddington's 1 and 2.
I've got to...
I
got to
feel
watch something like that.
delightful.
I don't think I can watch it. I don't think
I
I can
think
finish
that's
it.
fair. Just get a synopsis.
Oh, it's brutal.
Actually, I can give you a synopsis. Grim. Move on.
Really?
Move on.
Yeah, it's so bad. I know people knew that before I told them, but I don't know. I know you've got a... Oh, I don't know why we make programmes so sad. It was so sad. It broke me. Anyway, it broke my spirit.
So there's some nice bits in this story that I think
I
you'll
need
quite,
that. Really
quite
lean
like.
into those.
Stories from Bhutan.
Who?
It's Bhutan, the country of Bhutan and their folklore. It's
Is that a real country?
a real country. It's
Where's
sort
that?
of next door to Nepal, in between
Oh,
India and
God.
China.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And you'll like this. It's one of its biggest things that it concentrates on is having what it calls a GNH, which is a gross national happiness index, which means it prioritizes their citizens' happiness on an equal, if not more, higher level than like money.
Oh, I need to prioritise my happiness.
And it's also known as the land of the thunder dragon because it has so many storms there, because of like the certain like mountainous area it's in. So they believe at the top of certain mountains there is this spiritual.
Oh, get me there.
I was going to say you'll love this. It's also the most remote country on earth, which appeals to me. So we could both go. We could have a little trip.
Yeah.
But the story we're doing, there's quite a few versions in different countries.
Okay.
But it's to be honest, based off I didn't expect us to be talking about what we were at the beginning. So now this is going to seem more on the nose. It's called The Princess with the Three Breasts.
Oh my God, you've gone absolutely sex mad this week, haven't you?
Well, it's because I got me 3 sachets of lube, so I was like, just crack on. It's quite, there's many different folklore tales where there is something of a woman having 3 breasts or 3 something. So like,
I've got a friend with 3 nipples.
do you know who else celebrity-wise has 3 nipples?
No, only Chandler Bing.
Chandler Bing did have one, and then he had a nubbinectomy, and then he got rid of it.
Yeah.
Lily Allen,
Has she?
she's got one. Mark Wahlberg,
Okay.
Harry Styles has 4.
No, he doesn't.
Does?
I feel like I often see him with his top off, like.
Yeah, and his nipples out.
Oh, I have to look at that. Because I've never taken in the 4 nipples.
Yeah, it's got fun because there's 2 like prominent ones, and then the other ones they kind of might look like a bit like moles or something.
Yeah.
like that. But lots of different stories. There's the most well-known one, I believe, is, and I'm so sorry for my pronunciation of this, is the Hindu goddess Meenakshi. Sorry, I tried. She sounds amazing.
Right.
What I don't like there's lots of stuff I do like about her, which I'll tell you about. But the one thing I don't like is apparently Meenakshi, how I'm butchering it, is like Sanskrit and it means fish-eyed. So she's the fish-eyed goddess. And apparently that was meant to be a compliment because fish have like these really big eyes. I'm like, yeah, but fish eyes that just glare at you and don't blink. But she was known as like the fierce unmarried woman goddess.
Okay.
And she's really good in martial arts, archery, swordsmanship. She's a badass.
Okay, but she's got 3 breasts.
So she had 3 breasts, and there's a few others. There's also an African version where Ayana, and she didn't have 3 breasts, but she had 3 hearts, and it's thought that there's sort of similarities in its stems. Kind of from that. There are some bits in this I think you'll enjoy.
Oh, I hope so. Bring me up.
The rest of the story will be the same as you usually are, and like, well, why isn't there 17 other pages of description that we weren't?
Oh, so chunks missing, isn't it?
Maybe that's what causes your despair, that we've been doing numerous stories and you're like, I feel so unfulfilled by all of these stories.
By everything and everyone.
So let's try and cheer you up, shall we?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Are you ready for this?
Here we go.
Once there were a king and a queen who were getting old, and they worried a great deal because they had no children. Classic start, I think we'll agree.
Yeah.
Their agony suddenly came to an end one day when, way past her childbearing days, the queen rejoiced at realising that she was pregnant with their first child.
Oh.
I mean, to be fair, this is like...
Cheered me up already.
Because, in this book, Basing's fairy tale land past her childbearing years is probably like 25.
Yeah.
The birth of the daughter was celebrated with feasts and festivals throughout the kingdom. But when the royal astrologer was summoned to come and make the princess's horoscopes, a sudden uneasiness fell upon the kingdom. I told you you'd like this.
Oh, she's a happy bunny.
They're really big on astrology in Bhutan.
Yeah, Dua Lipa's got an astrologer.
What? Fuck me.
I saw a clip the other day. They were
Right.
like, don't get yourself a therapist or anything, get yourself an astrologer like Dua
Who
Lipa.
said that? An astrologer?
No, the clip on Instagram.
The clip promoting the astrologer said we should all get an astrologer, not a
Yeah,
therapist.
that's Dua Lipa. That's how she reckons she got successful. And Taylor,
Yeah,
and
sure.
Taylor Swift's mum went to a psychic
Oh, fuck me.
and was told that Taylor Swift was going to be like the most famous person on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, her mum started training her up.
Right.
And she is the most famous person on earth,
And-
I would argue.
Yeah, and I don't know a lot about Taylor Swift, but one of the few things I do know, and I'm sure this has nothing to do with her career, is her dad being a huge financial planner and investing like $1 million or whatever it was at the beginning of her career.
I did not see that clip.
No. Anyway, getting you happy again.
The astrologer, bring that baby back.
Do you know, I got something specifically for you because I saw it was in the story and I knew you'd like, don't worry, it's not a gift, but you're going to enjoy this.
I mean, don't worry, I was actually excited about it.
I'm not giving you my phone. So, because they're really big on astrology, they had a way in Bhutan of working out from your birth sign.
Oh, God, okay.
And you, look how happy you are.
Yeah, tell me something great about me.
No, it's working out which one's your most lucky day, your sub-lucky day, and your unlucky day.
Right.
So, I apologise for this, but from what I could work out, I think the birth signs are equivalent to sort of Chinese signs.
Okay.
So like mine, I know my Chinese year is the year of the dragon. Do you know what your one is?
I thought it might be tiger, but I'm not sure.
Are
It's
you 86?
86,
Yeah, that's tiger.
Okay.
Okay. You're so excited.
I am excited.
Right. So your really good luck day is Wednesdays.
Oh, of every week?
Mm-hmm. Your sub good luck days are Friday, and your most unluckiest days are Thursday.
Oh, what a way to break up the week.
There you are. You see, you've got what a roller coaster you have. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're going really up, really down, and then it's like it balances out in the middle. And it's really interesting because my most unluckiest day apparently is Wednesday, and we're gigging together on Wednesday. So it sounds like you're going to smash it, and I'll die on my ass. So they've got a royal astrologer.
Yeah, sorry, we're only 2 sentences
Which
in.
I thought you'd
Let's
really
get
go.
this show on the road.
But when the royal astrologer was summoned to come and make the princess's horoscope, because they're big on that in Bhutan. It's when the child is born, having a what they call like a proper star charty thing done.
Birth chart.
Birth chart, yeah.
Yeah, to figure out where they're going to go and what they're going to be.
But they actually do it because this article, because obviously otherwise I wouldn't have engaged with this whatsoever. But the article I read that I got the lucky thing
I
from.
feel like you're getting into it.
I'm not getting into this at all.
You are.
But the article I read, it was about the sociological behaviours that people in Bhutan have around horoscopes because they do it for everything, including, and they're starting to do it for
Pets.
surgery.
Oh.
So they will work out what the time of your surgery is when certain incisions were made, and that will dictate potentially how.
If the transplant was successful. No.
Yeah. Like how much better that's going to make you, all this kind of stuff. And because they do it with...
What, so they'll plan your surgery time around what they find out?
So this bit I wasn't sure. I was like, so hang on, what if it's...
Because I want it pre, not post-op.
Yeah, because if you're going to book me in for like 4:59 and that's going to give me the worst luck, I would like to do 4:58 if you don't mind. When I'm dead.
20.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that bit I wasn't sure. But it must be...
It must be pre-op. It must be part of the pre-op.
But no, because then you never... When the operation starts, what if... Like, they do try and work to time as much as possible. But if some of it's incision, they have to know what time that incision happened. And that, if the doctor's moving around, whatever. So maybe it's post-op.
Right. Well, I'll just say I don't want to know then. Thank you. The deed has been done.
But you love astrology stuff.
Yeah, but if it's already in, I don't want to know.
Anyway, back to the royal astrologer. But the royal astrologer was summoned to come and make the princess's horoscope. A sudden uneasiness fell upon the kingdom as he gloomily warned the royal couple. Oh, I need a voice for the royal astrologer.
Do it like Mystic Meg.
What's she sound like?
I don't know, actually. I never read her stuff written down.
I only read her stuff, you stupid twat.
Or what's the woman, Lisa? Sally Morgan.
Who's Sally Morgan?
She's like a big psychic type person.
Right, what's she sound like?
Just a bit like me, actually.
Oh, I can't do your accent
No.
badly again.
Okay.
And it's a blurt. I can do generic doddery old man. Because he sounds like a royal astrologer.
Sounds very wise to me, but fine.
Why?
Go
Oh,
doddery.
wise.
Well, yeah, he's looking at the moon and
Who's
stars.
wise? Oh, what was that one I did for that bloke in the Nordic ones? Erdin. I gave him a wise voice.
I can't remember.
So glad you remember.
I can't remember anything.
Right, hang on. Something's going to happen.
I don't think there's anything between my ears.
So, this royal astrologer warned the royal couple.
The princess has 3 breasts, and the significance of this is very, very bad for the country. It is said in the books that the day such a freak appears, there will be deaths, famines, and other catastrophes. We must get rid of the princess.
That was really you nailed that.
So he's like, she's got 3 tits. She's a disaster. She needs to go.
Yeah.
Oh, I need the voice for the king now. He can just be kingy. There must be some remedy, exclaimed the king and queen in disbelief. How could fate be so cruel? They had had to.
Oh, you're asking me.
They had had to wait so long for a child, and when the child finally came along, they had to get rid of her. They were grief-stricken.
Yeah.
Quite understandably so. Time passed quickly, and the princess grew into a beautiful girl, but there was no way of remedying the significance of the 3rd breast. Every day, the king's ministers, and especially the royal astrologer, reminded him about the ill omen of the 3rd breast. It's nice that he's been kept around just to be like every day in that poor girl's life. The king would sit and think of ways to save his daughter from being killed. I mean, just don't allow it. You're the king. You literally make the rules.
He's like, I need a different remedy. Change it, babe.
Yeah.
Change the meaning of it.
Then suddenly he had a plan. He issued a royal proclamation which said that anyone who would marry his daughter and leave the country would get half of his wealth. Selling her, basically. That's his big plan.
But also, why have they got to leave the country?
Because if she stays, she's a bad omen for the country. So if she's not there, none of this famine...
So he's just going to make it... She's a bad omen for a different country now.
Presumably.
Okay.
Or it doesn't work the same in a different country. Who knows? Because
we are unsure.
It's almost like the astrology is bollocks, but we move on.
I don't think you should read it if you don't know.
Nobody dared to come forward, and days passed. Then one day, 2 men stood at the palace gate. These can be from
like
Yorkshire.
buses.
Yeah. We will marry the princess, they announced. What a blow it was for the royal parents to see their daughter's suitors, for one of them was blind and was being led by a hunchback. And actually, and we can put this on Instagram, there is actually a nice little picture.
Oh, yeah. Also, it doesn't look like he's led. It looks like he's sort of touching his butt and pushing it along.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It looks like he's being forced
and
into
what
it.
I also love is...
Oh, no, he is being led. Sorry, yeah,
He is being led, but he just has his eyes shut and looks closed. But then the woman looks like she's half winking and is just like, fuck my life.
Who's she?
That's the woman. That's the girl.
With the 3 breasts?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
She's wearing a good bra.
Yeah, they haven't made it obvious in that picture.
So one of them's blind, one of them's got hunchback.
One of them's got 3 breasts.
The king knew that this was his last chance to save his daughter, so he agreed to let her go. He gave them jewels, gold, silver, cattle and grains and told them to go as far away as possible from the kingdom. To be fair, he's sold her for quite a lot, hasn't he? Gold, silver, cattle and grain.
Yeah.
How much do you think you'd go for?
Well, I'm at a low now. So... but on one of my better days...
You think you'd be worth some cattle?
Yeah. Maybe a horse.
A
People
horse?
trading
A
horses.
pantomime one?
Yeah. Get a horse for me.
Nice.
Tiffany bracelet.
I reckon I'd be at least worth one of them good pork pies you can get from the butchers.
Oh, dear.
Or a tub of Haribo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but as long I don't like the firmy ones. So no.
They're the only ones I like.
Oh, well, we should share a tub of Haribo. I don't like the fried egg ones and stuff like
Do you
that.
know they're the only ones I like?
Nah. I like the
And
ring.
the little heart with the foam on the
No,
back.
no. I like the rings because you can wear them. I like anything that you can like wear and eat. I'm all for.
Okay. Like those bikinis. That
Oh
are,
no. I've never understood those. Like they make that is one of the least.
I think they're meant to be. I think it's meant
they're
to be
not sexy though, are they? Because they're
just like eat your way into the. Ugh.
no. This is it. Because they're like little pants or underwear, whatever, that are made of hard sweets or hard candy.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this right now. You nibbling away like Bugs Bunny and crunching hard sweets. Like I'm going to be really blunt about this. At no point do I want someone in between my thighs with the sound of crunching. I don't want that. How are you getting on?
I haven't seen them for a while.
It's because they're horrific.
Do they still make them?
Probably.
Because it is the multicoloured ones, isn't it? Yeah.
Like not Parma violets, but like
no,
the
but
same,
they're like that, and they're all
yeah.
different colours. Yeah.
And also,
I saw them a lot for a while.
there's no normal person with normal boobs fitting into that bra that do them.
No, I reckon I could.
No.
I've got little boobies.
Yeah, but that was made for like Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Also,
no.
is it a thong? I wouldn't want it going
You
up.
don't want anyone nibbling near that.
But they did male ones as well, didn't they? Like a little pouch for their little willies.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure. Look, famously, lads love tooth. Like, famously.
How did we get onto that?
Oh, I was talking about what we'd be sold for if we. If we were
Get there.
You can buy us both for a pair of sweet knickers. There you go. Amazing. I'll move on.
Oh dear, I'm broken.
After an emotional and tearful parting, the princess and her husbands crossed many valleys and climbed many mountains before they finally settled down in a valley. They lived together for many days and were quite happy. Both the men were very fond of their wife. But it so happened that the hunchback grew jealous of the princess's affections for the blind man, and he contrived to get rid of him. One day, he brought some meat and said, "Here's some meat I got for you. Fry it. Eat it." Which is one of the most Yorkshire shout-up lines I think anyone would ever
But
say.
also, sorry, I thought the hunchback was just there to help the blind guy out, but they bought her as a pair.
Yeah, too.
They were a throuple.
Yeah.
I did not get that.
They split the difference.
Yeah. Okay. So he's angry that she likes.
Well, they
the blind
were,
man
yeah,
more.
they were doing very well, and then now he's got a bit jealous. Anyway, so he's bought some meat and he's asked them to fry it and eat it. Okay. The blind man gratefully accepted the gift and right away set to fry it. But being blind, he accidentally dropped some water in the pan in which the meat was already sizzling in the hot oil. The oil splattered into his face. The pain was agonising, as it stung and burned. He covered his face and ran for water. After splashing water repeatedly on his face and stinging and burning subsided, his eyes hurt and tears ran out of them uncontrollably.
Do you remember a couple of minutes ago you told me it was for children?
Yeah, I'd take that back, actually. Eventually, when he felt sure that his eyes would fall out, a strange thing happened.
You know when you're sure that your eyes are going to fall out? You ever been there?
The pain gradually subsided and he saw light. Then objects became recognisable.
Oh, bloody hell, they cured him with some fat oil and some water.
We don't recommend that.
No, we are not doctors, but we are osteopaths, so you take our advice.
He saw the stove, the fire, the pots and pans. He could see. What was this magic?
Saw the hunchback touching up all three breasts.
Touches his wife, yeah. What was this magic that had cured him? He looked into the frying pan and was appalled, for the meat in front of him was a poisonous snake. He recognised it, for he had seen snakes before he became sightless after a long illness. And I'm going to tell you now, we don't learn anything else about that.
I
That's
love
it.
that. That is someone that's written that far and gone, oh shit.
Had an editor.
Got to mention that bit. And I was like, but if I got to mention that bit, the rest of the story will unravel. So let's just summarise that there.
Yeah, a long illness that I couldn't possibly.
He had seen snakes before. Remember, before he was blind, because he was not born blind. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've got to get more confidence, because there's people writing books and stuff that have got no fucking idea what they're doing, but they're in print.
The friend had not even bothered to skin it, for a blind man would never see it. The meat which was to poison him had cured him. How strangely fate worked. So he didn't even try and make
Fate
this
does
meat
work
nice.
in
He was just,
mysterious ways.
yeah, no, it doesn't. Gradually, bitter resentment and anger swelled in his heart, and he realised that his friend had intended to kill him. So, what should he do now? Before he could think further, he heard the hunchback and the princess coming into the house. Revenge time.
That's a new format for the show. Revenge time.
There is quite a lot of revenge in most of them
Yeah.
there, so I think maybe we should get some stuff. We'll get Katie Pritchard, who does the lovely theme tune for our
Revenge time.
Revenge time. Impulsively, he hid behind the door, thinking, "What should I do?"
I feel like those two things don't go hand in hand. Impulse and what should I do? It's one or the other. You've done what you thought you should do. You've gone behind the door.
What should I do to be impulsive? People don't plan this enough, in my opinion. The next moment, he sprang out, caught the princess and picked her up and threw her at the hunchback, shouting, "You two wanted to kill me, but you see, I don't die so easily." So his thwarted impulses whack the one with the other.
Yeah, and also, I thought he knew it was the hunch. He's taking her down with him.
The princess crashed against the hunchback and both fell to the floor. They rose slowly from the ground in total shock, staring at the blind man, who now looked at them boldly, which would be quite a shock for them, I imagine, going, hey, I'm sorry, Jeff, can you see us? Yeah, okay. Just follow my finger. Follow my finger. What's happening? In silence, they stood together and faced each other, for they realised the great miraculous change that had taken place in them. The impact of the princess's body crushing against the hunchback had straightened his body, while the same impact had burst her third breast.
Reread that sentence, please.
The impact of the princess's body crushing against the hunchback had straightened his body, while the same impact had burst her third breast.
Sorry, so she's now got 2 breasts and he's got a straight back?
Yes, so his back went, he's got that, and her breast went, and then that's, and that's it. That's all they've... Also, please do contact me for
That's not
voiceover
the
work.
end.
No, not quite, no.
Jesus.
They stood there staring at each other, perplexed and confused,
Of course. That's more than the blind guy getting his sight back.
feeling and studying their own bodies for a long time. Eventually they realised, as if waking for a long dream, that they were each free of their handicaps. It was the strange and incomprehensible twist of fate that they had been born to suffer their own agonies, and then had been brought together through unusual circumstances to help each other to find the freedom from the physical bondages which had so far ruled their lives. And that is the end of the story.
Right. Okay.
No?
So they were meant to find each other,
All 3 of them were meant to find each other.
to heal each other,
to heal each other's handicaps,
in their words.
in their words.
Not yours.
Not mine, no.
Okay.
If you had a third breast, would you want it at the front or in a different place?
Interesting question.
Thank you.
I wouldn't want it under my armpit. So
Is that because your current ones already roll under there?
Yeah, you know when you're sleeping?
Yeah.
I actually find my boobs really uncomfortable if I sleep on my side. Like, sometimes I have to put a cushion in between the 2 of them to separate them from one another.
You know, you can get...
Is there a thing? Is that normal?
You can get a sleep bra,
But
which I tried, and I'm going to tell you what was
more uncomfortable.
more uncomfortable. Because, so you have it, like, I'm bigger chested than you.
Right.
And like that, like you're waking up with one over your shoulder and everything when I'm going, like, because it's this thing you wear like, even if it's a t-shirt, one's coming out the sleeve or something in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here? But there's like, it's like a bra, and they were like, it has no underwire, no this, that, and the other. It kind of looks like a sports bra, but it like does up at kind of in the middle.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to separate the 2 because
So
they're
that's
sort of
what-
leaning on one another.
Maybe it'll work for you, but for mine it did not work.
Right.
But you can get a
So
thing.
that's a common problem. I thought that was a me problem.
No, tits are flailing for everybody.
Oh, okay. So yeah, not under the armpit. Maybe like where my belly button is or something.
Okay.
I
It's
don't
gonna make doing up your jeans a bit hard.
Well, it just flop over the top.
You're flopping it out.
I'm flopping it over the top. Yeah.
And you're just having, I mean, you know, fair play. We should allow more.
Then
you
it
know,
also, it just looked like a little belly, wouldn't it?
how big is it?
Bigger than these. If I'm getting to choose, slightly bigger.
So hang on, you're having an extra tit. You're putting it by your belly button and you're going, no, as big as possible. If I'm going to have a fake boob, irrelevant of where it is, I want it big. Really, even on your stomach, and it looks like some weird, like, you know.
I don't want it as big as like Katie Price big.
It's still.
Like maybe like, well, yeah. I'm
I mean,
say my bra size. I'm a D, but a tiny back, and I didn't know for years that the tinier the back, the tinier the cup.
Yeah.
So even though it's D, I think men just hear D and they think big
Massive,
boobies, but if they've got a little tiny back, tiny boobies.
Yeah.
So how big's my back? Because if my back's only a 32, I want a double G down there.
Right, so now not only are you flopping it out, you're getting a little mini 1-cup bra for that area to
Yeah.
keep it in.
Yeah, because it's smaller. Yeah, the smaller the back, the smaller the boob. No.
You're looking at me like that's the most normal thing anyone's ever fucking said. Whereas I'm like, where would you
Well,
want the
sorry.
boob? And I'm like, maybe somewhere petite so you could hide it. And you're like, no, full on at the front.
But also, you're looking at me like the most normal question to ever ask someone is, if you had a third boob, where would you put it?
Fair.
I'd have it on my chin, Louise, so I could just go.
Oh, then you could, for Halloween, you could dress up as a turkey.
Yeah. Where are you putting yours?
Good question.
It's your question.
I know. I think I'd keep it simple. I think I'd go in the middle of my other two.
And why?
Because I think you can disguise it a lot better. I also think, because as well, when they're bigger, you get, like, I have back problems. And
Yeah, but you're going to get worse back problems if you're only a third one there.
No, but my point is, if I put it anywhere else, because I'm working on the assumption it would be as equally big as my other ones. So it's going to have some heft to it, right?
Whereas I was working on the assumption that this one would be way bigger.
You will get in a third boob implant.
Yeah.
But like, so that's going to have some weight to it. So if I'm already having pain there, I might as well keep that there and not get pain. Or...
You don't want to limp like I had.
Yeah, I do.
Fair dues.
Exactly. And maybe, like, if they're all there, then I can do, like, you know, that pendulum thing? Like the Newton's cradle.
Oh, with the little balls, the little metal balls.
Newton's cradle it, and then I can go and live in the circus.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how I feel
Do you
about
think
it
people
popping.
have free breasts now? There must be someone around for
I'm
free
sure there
breasts.
is, yeah.
I wonder if anyone's getting a boob job, but the boob job is just requesting a third breast.
I'm sure people have requested
There's
that.
some weird shit that goes on, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, if we get a copy of Take a Break, I imagine that I'll have it in it.
Whatever happened? I haven't been to the dentist in a long time. I need to go back.
It is the best bit of going to any waiting room.
Yeah.
What do you think the moral was?
Find your people.
Sort of, weirdly, it was to embrace what you have and find a beauty of your own. So it's thought that this was like a metaphorical removal of handicaps because they actually found love harmoniously within the three of them, which I
Right.
think's a bit of a load of bollocks myself.
So, to embrace your
To embrace who you are.
differences.
Yeah,
Okay.
amongst each other, yeah. Also, don't flog your daughter for less than jewels, gold, silver, cattle and grains.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. I felt
You liked
like
the horoscopy bit.
I like the horoscopy bit. I felt that a man throwing one woman at another man and it miraculously straightening out his back and popping her breast was a lot to take in one sentence.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that poor woman actually contributed nothing to that argument, but was just a victim of it. You know, to poor her, which is why I think now she looks so irritated in that picture.
Yeah, she's been thrown into a
And a
hunchback.
hunchback, yeah.
Yeah.
Has it helped with your despair?
I'm going to say no.
Right.
But I don't know what will at this point. We don't normally carry on after the story, but fuck it, let's try and solve my problems.
No, we don't have the time.
Morals of their story. Can we come up with a moral of my story?
No, I'm sorry, time is over. Sorry.
Moral of my story, according to Matthew today, is I live in the top 10% of the world or something, so enjoy it. Sunshine, money in the bank, job, and love in my life.
And we're going to sign you up to one of these menopausal coffee mornings.
And I've got a menopausal coffee morning to look forward to.
Bring on the sachets
And
of
only
lube. 2
tiny breasts. So my life is A-OK.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Feel free to cut this bit out.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Be Fairy Afraid Pod. Thanks for listening.